Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about combining procedures. To start, I would like to say that thanks to this course, we have known the different procedures for getting students to notice, explore, and practice grammatical features in context, but separately. For that reason, this time we are going to explain how to combine these procedures due to they can be used in different ways to allow students learn grammar in context. So this strategy is called combining procedures because, as I said before, procedures will be combined in the same lesson. I will start by explaining what can be the usefulness of the different procedures in the lesson. For example, sequencing can be used to help students take ownership of text organization. Elaborating can be used to practice adding information in text to make them more complete. Or gut feeling that can be used to try to work out from the context what is missing in our written text. And thanks to it, students will notice the features in a text. Reconstructing can be used for practicing using the target grammatical feature in context. And finally, transforming that can be used to get students to explore how the grammatical features change in different contexts. For example, when we change active voice to passive voice. Furthermore, it should be noted that it is not necessary that when the procedures are combined, the least demanding ones, like comparing, are used before the most demanding ones, such as transforming.
Okay guys, now I'm going to explain a little bit about the lesson plan that will be developed with this strategy. Before to start, I want you to know that the topic of this lesson plan will be global warming, and the level that the student must have is upper intermediate to advanced. Besides, I want you to know that this lesson plan will be developed in two parts. That the first one will be explained by me, and the second one will be explained by my classmate Stefany Rojano. So, first of all, the student will be given two tests. The first one will be taken from an academic source that could be an encyclopedia, or maybe it could be a research. The test number two uh, will be an explanation from the test number one. This explanation could be given by the teacher, or maybe by a senior student to a junior student. So in this stage, the student must read these two tests, and after the reading, the teacher will ask some questions to make sure that the student understand the two tests. These questions could be, for example, what are the tests about? What could you understand from test number one? What could you understand from test number two? And so on. And after making sure that the student understand the two tests, the teacher will give a worksheet. In this worksheet, the student will match the number from the column test number one to the letters that are from test number two. This worksheet are is extract that are taken from the test number one and test number two. Okay, here are the possible answers for the exercise. The number the number one will be matched with the letter D, two with C, three with B, four with F, five with E, and six with A. Uh, After the matching exercise, the teacher will give these seven questions to the student. In this, the student will make like a reflection about the grammatical form that are evidentiated in the two tests. For example, in the question number one, that are what grammatical form are all of stressed in column one from test number one. And also about, for example, the question number two, what grammatical form are all of the stress in column number two from test number two, and so on. And now this is the answers. For example, the answer from the first question is they are all nouns, noun phrases, noun groups, and nominal groups. But the answer from the second one is they are all finite clauses. With this exercise, with this activity, the student we realize what are the grammatical features in the two tests. And here the student will notice also about how can they write or how can they turn like verbs or maybe adjective to nouns. For example, in the question number 4, that are which nouns in column 1 are derived from verbs in column 2, and the answer is agreement, that is derived from agree, burning, that is derived from burn, and also about which head noun is the main noun, and which head noun is in column 1 is related in form to or derived from an adjective in column number 2, that is uncertainty and uncertain. uh, also with the with the question number 6, which head nouns in column number 1 are related in meaning but not in form from two verbs in column 2, and the answer is increase in temperature with warming up, destruction, and cool down. uh, After that, the teacher will ask another 5 questions, that is about to recognize and realize which one is more sophisticated, or maybe is more academic, and which one is more is used in a everyday conversation, the vocabulary, I mean. And so here is the possible answers. For example, from the question number 1, which of the two tests seems more scientific? That is the test number 1. And the question number 2, which of the two tests is easier to understand? That is test number 2. Which of the tests is more precise? That is test number 1. Which of the tests is more concise? That is test number 1. And why is so much content packed into noun phrases in the test number 1, but spread out through two clauses in test number 2? Here is the possible solutions, and the student reflects about what they think that is the reason. After this, now I'm going to explain a little bit about the strategy that is used to develop this lesson plan. As you notice, the strategy here is comparing. With this, it is divided into parts: the noticing and exploring. About comparing, we know that this procedure that the student must read or maybe listen to similar tests which differ in at least one area of grammar. Here, in this exercise, the student must differ from test number 1 and test number 2, that we know that test number 1 is more sophisticated, more academic, and test number 2 is about a conversation, a transcription from a conversation. Here, about the grammatical feature that we can differ is the nominalization. The test number 1 is more academic because the nominalization, and the test number 2 is unpacked or denominalized. Also about notice as I told you, that is about the difference between the two tests, and we can find the exploring stage, that here the student need to explore about the differences with references in topic, and also about the context or purposes of the test. So that's all from the from the first part. And now my classmate Stefany Rojano will be explaining the second part of the lesson plan.
Hi everyone. First of all, we have to find, adapt, or write a text that is nominalized, similar to the one that our partner José Londoño showed us. That was text number 1. This is text number 3 and it's called Global Warming and Sea Levels. Here we have to make sure that our students read this text and understand it. They also have to analyze the structure, and after that, we're going to introduce our first activity, a diagram. In this part, we should include a diagrammatic representation of the content of the text. In this part, we took this diagram that has the same content of the text number 3, that is called Global Warming and Sea Levels. When talking about the activity, in this diagram, students should fill in the blanks, but according to the previous text and in a nominalized way. As we can see here, the answers are in the text, but students have to transform it to the diagram. We can see in the first box that says fossil fuel, we can find the answer in the first line of the text that is underlined with red and says burning. The answer to the second box would be increase in, and it's also located in the first line and it's also underlined with red. The answer to the third one would be absorption by these gases. The answer to the fourth one would be an increase in. And the answer to the fifth one would be rise in sea levels. The answer to the sixth one would be flooding of coastal areas. The answer to the seventh one would be disappearance of some low-lying islands. And the answer to the eighth one would be submergence of cities. Then we can find a worksheet. It is a version of text number 3 without most of the nominalization, but still has some skeleton in order to guide the students. After students read and understand the text number 3, they are going to make an attempt to fill in the gaps with an everyday language of global warming and rise in sea levels. And these are the answers, or possible answers. Well, then we have the strategy. In this part of the lesson plan, we can notice the usage of reconstructing, transforming, noticing, and practicing. One concept of reconstructing says, find or create a text containing the target features, and we could evidentiate that when we choose the text number 3 that is called Global Warming and Sea Levels. Also, one concept of transformating says, have students practice transforming the information from the original text into a new text, making use of the notes or visual representation. And we could evidentiate that with the activity of the diagram, because it is like basically fill in the gaps of the diagram using the information of the text. And we have noticing that we could evidentiate it because they had to notice at the beginning and explore the difference between a nominalized text and a denominalized text. And also we have practicing that we could evidentiate it when they had to practice.
Now we are going to reflect on the process of nominalization. So, what is nominalization and how does it work? The process of nominalization refers to the derivation of nouns from verbs and adjectives. For example, the word derivation from the verb derive, the word consumption from the verb consume, probability from the adjective probable, or importance from the adjective important. Let's see this example. We walked for charity. We raised money for the Leukemia Foundation. The charity walk raised money for the Leukemia Foundation. So here, the verb walked in the first sentence has been nominalized to the noun walk. So walk is the result of nominalization, and walked is the verb replaced. As you can see from the example, when a verb is nominalized, it becomes a concept rather than an action.
Therefore, the tone of your writing will sound more abstract and also more formal. However, nominalization can refer to any case in which meanings that in everyday language would typically be expressed by verbs, adjectives, or conjunctions that are instead expressed as nouns. So let's see more examples of nominalization. The earth has been getting warmer mainly because we humans keep doing things that produce greenhouse gases. The main cause of global warming is the production of greenhouse gases through human activity. As this example shows, nominalizing requires more than just the ability to change verbs into nouns. So in the nominalized version, not only are processes expressed as nouns like has been getting warmer to warming or keep doing things to activity or produce to production, but also the logical relationship because it's expressed as a noun cause, and the subjects, the earth and humans, are transformed into modifiers of the nominalized processes, global warming and human activity. So, how I mentioned before, nominalization is very widely used in more formal writing, and most advanced learners will need to develop some control over it. However, nominalization often makes text very dense and difficult for students to understand. So, to help them deal with such texts, it is useful for students to practice rephrasing the content of a highlight nominalized text in more everyday language, with much of the nominalization.
Hello everyone. In this time, I'm going to present the manners in which combining procedures differs from the conventional teaching grammar strategies. We can start pointing out that combining procedures is the gathering up of all the strategies previously presented in the book. So the main characteristic of this strategy is the extension it has in terms of the amount of practice, knowledge, and perspective that are attained by the students. Due to this, the exposure of the students in the grammar practice will have a better proficiency because of the support that the student is going to notice from the different strategies at the time of comprehending. The sequence in terms of the use of different strategies must be well organized at the time of combining procedures to have an actual meaningful result. The expected pattern ought to be from the less demanding strategies to the most demanding ones. In this way, students will be able to link the knowledge and perspectives from one strategy to the other, and the effectiveness for the students to attain knowledge from a basic way to a harder way will be higher. As the students are exposed to a grammar topic from distinct angles and overviews, combining procedures provides an extended side of the topic given, which eases the students' comprehension and makes them feel more familiarized with the topic given. This works as a guarantee for the students to have a clear knowledge and to perfect their perspective of the grammar topic. Last but not least, the context is a very crucial matter when students are taught through contextualized lessons. Their learning process goes beyond what is expected, and the knowledge will be meaningful and somehow will prepare the students to have a significant comprehension on any contextualized topic provided by the teachers. So basically, these are like some of the qualifications that distinct this strategy from the other ones. And thanks for watching. I hope you all could take something valuable from this video and going beyond that, using this information, this meaningful information in your professional life. Well, this is all, and stay good. Goodbye.